to our first meeting of our new year. So the first thing is approval of minutes, December 21st, 2021. Is there a motion to approve that?
I move that we approve the minutes from the December 21st meeting.
Okay. Second? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous, very good. Communications, communication I have is to remind people there is a P and Z meeting for to update the progress on the town plan, and that's on the 27th of January. It will be held remotely at 7 p.m. Another thing, people will be hearing from the selectmen this week as we have starting the budget process, and we'll be sending out budget letters to people who have departments and organizations that do participate in our budget process. So those letters will be going out this week. Additions to the agenda, any additions to the agenda?
I have an addition.
Okay,
Yeah, a little, an update on healthcare providers.
okay. We can add that. Any other additions? I'll second the healthcare providers. Okay. Any other additions? All those in favor of adding healthcare providers to the agenda? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. So next we have COVID update. The pandemic has been in the news again this week, as we have seen a tremendous increase in the positivity rate and also hospitalizations in Connecticut, and also increases in the caseload here in our town. And it looks like we'll be in this for a while, at least a couple more weeks at these elevated levels. We have been working hard to make test kits available that we received from the state. Originally, we heard last week we were gonna get 270. That turned into 90 kits this week, and we got them yesterday. Diane Beebe has been doing a great job as our emergency management director, and we got the kits and distributed them to our schools, child center, emergency service people, frontline workers, and we've also set up a email line at Cornwall test questions at Gmail, where people have been calling up, and we have had volunteers deliver kits to people that are either symptomatic or have had exposure. It isn't just to get people to have these put on their shelves, but it's for people that actually have had cases or had significant exposure, which we have had a number of those in town. And so even though we didn't get as many kits as we'd like, we have put them to good use, and they have come in very handy this last week, as we have seen more cases in town. So anyway, thanks to people who are working on that. And again, a recurring plea for people to do the right thing with masks, and especially social distancing. And if you feel sick, stay home and pay attention to what's going on. Consult your healthcare providers and try to work together on the issue. And I think we'll get through it. And this last variant has seemed to be much more contagious than the previous ones. Luckily, the hospitalization rates haven't been as extreme as the previous variants, but because there are many more cases, that it has put a tremendous burden already on a healthcare system that has been taxed in the last 2 years. So anyway,
Gordon, can I ask you a quick
Yes.
question?
yes,
I'm wondering how many kits are left currently?
right now we have 15 unallocated, but we're delivering 3 or 4 a day to people that are symptomatic.
Okay.
And also, now that you mentioned that, the COG is looking into doing a joint purchase of this. And that is one thing we are going to look at, because I think this has been a good program. There are also test kits are available. You just have to go onto the websites to find them. But as people are isolating, it's a good thing to have some of these available to people, or if people can't find them, the supply goes up and down. So I am thinking of trying to acquire more, so we have these. The school, also the elementary school, did get 90 kits delivered today. So again, they're trying to test and stay open. So anyway, we're in communication with them and the child center.
So the best way to get these is to send an email then, yes?
Send an email to Cornwall.
Testquestions@gmail.com.
At Gmail, and there's
Got it.
somebody monitoring that and
Perfect.
has a stockpile, and we're keeping track of what it is. And again, if we run out, we're going to try to get more. There's a chance the state may come up with more, or we may go out and buy more, just as a service to people. So, and again, we're if people want to know any updates, we are putting them up on the website, and we are emailing people. We're putting a few things up on Facebook. So we're trying to get out to people, and again, thank people for their patience, cooperation, concern, and all those good things. So
I have one more question, Gordon. Sorry, I'm
yes,
being
absolutely.
question meister today. Are those the quick result tests? Or are those the PCR tests?
These are the quick result tests, 15
Okay.
minutes.
Yep.
Have one right here,
Nice.
right there. So there's actually 2 tests in a kit. So people can take them and take them 48 hours after the first test. And again, we're learning about these things. So it is a quick test. And again, we're not giving out medical advice. We encourage everybody to talk to their primary care physician. But if they are looking for tests, we are able to offer that now at the present time. So, and also our social service department is going to do outreach with our vulnerable populations and get some out that way too. So we're looking at, half a dozen different channels to get this out to people that are symptomatic. Okay, anything else on COVID? We all look forward to the day when this will not be on our agenda and our glasses won't be steamed up, and people won't have to be in isolation. But at this point, we are seeing another peak and spike, whatever you want to call it. And again, it's happening all over the country. So people, I think, just have to follow the guidelines and do the best we can. Okay, so anything on that, else on that? Okay, thank you for those questions. Appointments, we still have some vacancies, and we do have word from the Economic Development Committee that they have recommended Oscar Anderson to join the Economic Development Committee. Oscar is a fairly new resident in town, but has offered his expertise to help businesses. And I think, again, that committee is getting organized, and they've got some new members, and they're ready to go.
New chair.
New chair, Simon Hewitt. Vice Chair, Bianca Griggs. Forgot who the secretary is, but
Secretary is Duncan.
Duncan Webb. Go Duncan.
And the treasurer is Gary Steinkel.
Okay.
A fantastic group.
Yeah. Great. Okay, so anyway, any discussion about Oscar? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, we have to sign a I have, let's see, we have to have a resolution. We have to pass a resolution in order to receive funds which are often regionally administered, but also are helpful in these days of emergencies. So, and this is a routine thing that we've done for the last 10 years. So, Jonathan, do you want to, well, anyway, this is a certification. I can read off the resolution. John has it up there. Resolved the Board of Selectmen may enter into and deliver to the state of Connecticut Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection Division, Emergency Management and Homeland Security, any and all documents which it seems to be necessary, and further resolve that Gordon Ridgway, first selectman of the Cornwall Board of Selectmen, is authorized and directed to execute and deliver any and all documents on behalf of the Cornwall Board of Selectmen and do perform all acts and things which she deems necessary or appropriate, carry out such terms and such documents, including but not limited to executing and delivering all agreements and documents contemplated by such documents. The undersigned certifies that Gordon Ridgway now holds the office of first selectman and that he has held the office since November 1991. And John signs that off as a resolution that was passed by this board. So is there a motion to pass this resolution?
I'll move to pass this resolution.
Second.
Second, and so basically this allows us to receive funding or participate in regional emergency management activities. The state's divided into 5 emergency management areas, and we are very lucky that our area, which extends from the northwestern corner almost all the way to Hartford, down to Danbury, Waterbury. Our Region 5 coordinator is John Field, who is a former fire chief in Torrington, knows the area well and does a great job, works 24/7, and has been very helpful this week on this whole mask delivery thing. For example, they coordinate the delivery of, I'm sorry, not the mask, but the tests. And we will be we've ordered several thousand upgraded masks for public distribution also. So he'll be coordinating that, and then we'll set up a time to disperse those masks. So again, it allows us to work with other towns in the region and our coordinator to flow information and material back and forth between the municipalities and the state. So, any more discussion? Question?
So is there any downside to, is there any cons to signing this?
No.
Okay.
Not that I've seen in 10
Okay.
years. Again, they don't force you to do anything, but under state statute, if there's emergency, the governor can acquire any local assets. If there's an emergency, they could, and it hasn't happened often, but the state can, say your highway department will go to Roxbury to help with the flooding situation or something. We do have, from time to time, we have gotten things like cots for emergency shelter. We have a auxiliary lighting system that we can use. And again, the main thing is information and training of our people for emergencies. So anyway, it's a good, I think, cost-effective program. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so next we have the Cornwall housing plan adoption. We had our hearing last month. That was the 3rd public forum. We've the housing plan. And it was very well attended, as were the other sessions. A lot of give and take. And again, thanks to the committee for working for the better part of a year on this. And to Janelle Mullen, who did a great job incorporating some of the comments and suggestions into the final document. So now it is up to the Board of Selectmen to adopt this plan or not on behalf of the town. There are a lot of action items in the plan that I think are very practical and will help the housing situation. So is there a motion to approve, to adopt this housing plan?
So moved.
Is there a second
Second.
from Priscilla? Any discussion?
It's been discussed.
Yeah, it's been pretty thoroughly discussed, but I think, having sat on the committee as chair, while we were meeting over the last year, certainly the price of housing, the availability of housing in the town has markedly, well, the price has increased, the availability has decreased, and the need for a coherent, practical, local approach to making more housing available to people has become more apparent. So I think it's timely. I think there's a bunch of work that needs to be done, some by this board, including appointing a housing committee that will advocate for housing. So we do have work to do. And again, we're going to, part of the plan calls for the town to revisit the issue every year. So we will be having a housing forum every year. So again, there's plenty of work for individuals to do in addition to the town boards and commissions. So any other comments? Okay. So all those in favor of adopting the town housing plan as draft?
Aye.
Okay, aye. Sorry, we just got a fire call while we were going. But anyway, it is unanimous. But anyway, very good. Thank you. All right.
There you go.
Next, very exciting news in the new year. Did get one of my first emails of the new year was from a government relations officer from Optimum. Yeah, so from government relations officer in Optimum, and they have announced their intentions to start their work on doing the engineering on a fiber to the home system for the town of Cornwall, replacing their coaxial cable in the next 2 years with a fiber optic cable, which has been a goal for a long time, of sort of seemed to be a long away goal. But again, we will be involved in the next couple of months, meeting with them to try to facilitate the process of getting that system in place. There certainly can be questions, but there's also quite a few positives to the town of getting a system like that in place. So again, I plan to participate and keep the board up to date with that news, and as we go along with that. But again, I think that was a good way to start the new year. That was one of our goals, to upgrade our internet access and our fiber optic or our internet speeds. And again, we've been working on this for quite a while. And so again, it's good to have a partner in Optimum, and they be proactive to seek town involvement from the early stages of the planning of their rollout. So again, that's another one of our big issues, one of our goals, and we'll be thoroughly involved with that in the coming year. So any comments from the board on that?
Way to go.
Yeah, so
I would also, 2 years is a long time. So I would also, encourage the internet committee to kind of keep an eye on things, and where there are opportunities to press forward. I would certainly encourage that committee to do so, to keep the pressure on Optimum, because if there's an opportunity for them to stretch out that time frame, look at a different town, I would just want to make sure we don't take the frying pan off the burner.
Right. And I think also the thing too is this is, fiber to the home. This doesn't necessarily improve our mobile connectivity, or,
Mhm.
we have some dead spots in town where there's no reception. So that's the other part of this whole piece. But being able to get this news early on, I think is a great thing. So anyway, so I will keep you up to date. ARPA funds, we're continuing to get some applications on that. More exciting applications. I mean, they're all exciting, but a good application we just got was from the Cornwall Library, who seeks to outfit their community room to be a Zoom room. So they and the town can have board meetings there if and when, well, hopefully when we go back to hybrid meetings. And that has a bunch of advantages. Most notably that, again, that would be used for community use and town use. But that room is much more, the acoustics are much better in that room than they are in the town hall, as is the heating system. So I think it would have a nice fit, and be able to get good, transmissions from that. So anyway, they plan to do that. We have about 15 applications, mostly from nonprofit organizations that have seen a decline in revenue or an increased cost. Since the pandemic, we do have some business applications that people have lost money during the pandemic. So that committee, we do have a committee that's looking at all that after Barbara and I screen the applications, and the committee will probably be meeting next week to get another look at what we have on our plate at this point. But my goal is to get a lot of these applications that we have received, processed, and categorized, and have the committee vote on them. Because again, a lot of these are organizations or businesses that provide important services to town. Yes, Janet.
So I'm just, what will the average grant be? And these are grants, correct? These people don't have to pay that back.
Correct. These are grants. I think one thing we're gonna, propose is that we put a $15,000 cap on them. We did receive a couple applications for more than that, but we wanted to, one of our goals is to spread this money around somewhat. And we will have some $15,000 applications, including the one I just mentioned from the library. So I'd say, there's some 15s, there's some 3s. If we buy more testing kits, that could be an expense. We're being very careful though, because the federal government has very strict criterion on how the money is to be spent. Each town is doing it somewhat differently. But again, we've heard from a lot of organizations, and we'll have another round of money next year. So we will, again, keep you in the loop on that. And we do want to take some action to get some of these applications that have been in for a while. I'll get them processed and moved out. So that's the goal probably for the next 2 months. We'll be meeting fairly regularly to get some of that work done. So I think that's about it. The ARPA funds, Mohawk Mountain, 75 years old. Again, our congratulations to the ski area. They're finally getting some winter weather. But I know last year they did a great job adapting their business model to the pandemic and had one of their best years ever. and provided, I think, a really good resource, not just for Cornwall people, but people in the whole state and region to get outside, have very good exercise, enjoy life. And again, they did some nice creative things to make their operations as safe as possible as far as the pandemic. So they're well positioned to carry on that way this year. And again, congratulate them. Some of the people working there are descended from the people that were founded it 75 years ago, which I think has a lot to say about its connection to this town and its commitment to the town. And anyway, I think it's a very positive thing, and wherever you go. And in Connecticut, a lot of people, grew up skiing at Mohawk, and it's again,
My dad actually learned to ski at Mohawk.
Your dad did.
My dad did. Yep.
Your dad did.
Yes, he did.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. His family
to
lived in
ski.
Roxbury, and they used to come up here, and he remembers the family too.
Yeah. I learned to ski there in the 1960s, so that was a while ago. But again, it's great to have that, and it, I think, again, fits into our town as being, a great place for outdoor recreation, and it's an important part of that. So, congratulations with them, and again, we're all working with them to make sure they're in business for another good long while. So, challenging weather, but they've been making snow and getting ready. They're used to the weather of Southern New England, and anyway, I think they're about to get under full operation. So then that's our regular points. Janet had healthcare providers. Did you have some new thing on that? Yes.
Yes. So one of the things that, I had said as one of the things I really wanted to work on was bringing more healthcare to Cornwall, since we have none. No healthcare providers, no pharmacy services, no chiropractors, no physical therapy, no nothing. So that's something I've been focusing on. On Friday, I'm meeting, she's the president of the Connecticut Advanced Practice Registered Nurses. So her name's Lynn Rapsilber. So I'm talking to her. She actually has 2 candidates who might be interested in opening a practice in Cornwall.
Great.
So yeah, those are, I'm going to talk to them, and I'm very excited about it. Lynn is a wonderful resource. So, the APRNs can prescribe in Connecticut, which you may or may not know, but they would be able to have a full practice. And there's actually a physician in Cornwall who would also oversee that practice if it was needed. So we already kind of have that lined up. So there is an interesting opportunity here, and I'll let you know how that goes.
Great. All right. Well, that's good. Give our regards to the registered nurses. We all know there's a nursing shortage nationally, and if we can make something happen here, we'll work extra hard to see if we can't do that. So anyway, thank you for that initiative.
Sure.
Anything else, Priscilla?
No.
Okay, all good. Okay, so now we're on to public comment. Any public comments out there? We have a minute here for public comments. Yes, questions from the press.
Question from the press. It's just, I'm wondering about the optimum fiber to home program.
Yes.
That you said it might not increase connectivity. So what would the fiber bring to the home?
Oh, well, actually, I mean, it would replace people's cable at this point, and it will provide better speeds and more bandwidth. So I meant that it wouldn't improve necessarily the reception of people's cell phones. That's what I meant. I mean, this will be a huge improvement in internet speeds, I believe. So I mean, it's a major advancement, but there is, I think, and I'm not very expert on this, but there's a difference between house-based systems and the mobile systems on people's phones. So it would make a significant, especially for people, home-based businesses and people that use a lot of data, it would be a big difference.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Comments? Okay. Hearing none.
I have a question.
Yes, Richard.
Is it possible that when we have these meetings, that we could see the video of everybody? Only because it makes it more, I don't know, more of a community thing. Whereas when you see just the names and you don't see a person behind it, I mean, is it possible we could request that sort of thing, or, you know?
Yeah, I think that's a little bit individual choice. I know sometimes if I have two meetings, I tend to eat dinner during one of them, so nobody wants to see that. And again, if people want to listen into this and not participate, they're certainly welcome to participate at any speed. So I don't, I mean, I think that's a preference, more an individual preference is my thought, but that's
Okay.
just, I'm just glad to have people checking into us live, the more the merrier. And if people want to watch television or do something else with the other eye, that's fine too. And if they just want to listen to it, that works. I see
Maggie.
Mag Cooley there. She's live and in person. Hi,
I just came on in person to answer Richard, to say that I think there may be lots of people like me who love coming to the meetings, but probably wouldn't come if we were obliged to be live and in
Okay,
person.
sorry.
Sorry about that, but as a shy person, that's my nature.
Okay, well, there we go. All's glad to see people. There's Deb Bennett. We're seeing her, hands up.
I'd like to answer Richard too. Could I just say, Richard, I'm in my PJs and I'm eating dinner, just like Gordon said, because I just finished another meeting. Good
I
night.
can't help it.
Night.
What are you gonna do?
Oh, good. All right. Appreciate you staying up for us, Deb. That's fine. Anyway, like I said,
Are we allowed
again,
to come in our
one thing we
pajamas?
said that we get more
sure.
people listening, participating, seeing what's going on than we used to. So, however we can make that comfortable for people.
And just remember, it's being recorded.
It is live and in person. Yes, great. Okay. Any other comments? All right. Okay, so anyway, thank you all for attending. We have a bunch of, we'll have more meetings this month coming up because we have to start tackling our budget and things. But anyway, appreciate everybody's participation and ask everybody to hang in there during the next couple of weeks. We got maybe some tough time ahead of us, but a lot of good things happening in town. So we'll stay focused on those too. So anyway, good night, everybody. Take care. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
Thanks, John.